Suicidal tendencies that creep up in my coffin. But I wouldn't do no talking. Can't you see the reaper? You go crazy, you go dumb. I'm gonna let my chopper drown.
Hi guys, in this YouTube video I will show you the best Nintendo 64 accessories from 1996 until 2002. The Nintendo 64 controller, the main controller for the console with one D-pad, one analog stick, four camera buttons, R, L, Z triggers, start, A, B buttons. Jumper pack, it plugs in the back of the controller. It is included by default in every Nintendo 64 controller. It doesn't add any extra feature, it simply fills the port. Controller pack, it plugs in the back of the controller. It worked as a memory card. Rumble pack, it plugs in the back of the controller. It provides vibration feedback in the games that support this feature. Transfer pack, it plugs in the back of the controller. It is used to transfer data between Game Boy, Game Boy Color and Nintendo 64 games. It was included by default with the game Pokémon Stadium and was used by some games, especially Pokémon Stadium 1 and 2. Memory expansion pack, it increased the console's RAM from 4 MB to 8 MB. It increased the game's resolution to 480i and added bonus content to some games. Wild Boy 64. It wasn't sold in retail stores to consumers, but only to Game Press. It allowed the Nintendo 64 to play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games on the TV using the adapter inside this special cartridge. Nintendo 64 DD. It was an experimental floppy disk add-on for the Nintendo 64. It was little more than a prototype. Some units have been sold in Japan. It had some games such as Mario 64 DD or F-Zero X. It also supported WANDnet and an online service only available in Japan. Nintendo 64 mouse. It was a mouse with Nintendo 64 connector used in some games Mario Party DD and SimCity 64. Video capture cassette. It was bundled with the game Mario Artist Paint Studio. It has audio, video and microphone input to record audio and video from the TV to save your projects. Nintendo 64 keyboard. It was a small keyboard sold together with the 64 DD. It was used to write chat messages using the WANDnet online service. Nintendo 64 modem. It included an Ethernet jack and it plugs into the cartridge slot. It provides internet connectivity to the Nintendo 64 to access the WANDnet online service, compatible internet-enabled 64DD games and a simple web browser. Nintendo 64 voice recognition unit. It was only compatible with two games, Hey You Pikachu and Densha the Go 64. It has a microphone and it is calibrated to recognize a high-pitched voice such children's voice. Nintendo 64 cleaning kit. It provided the materials to clean the control deck, the cartridge slot, and the controller packs. Hershey Wheel 64. It was a racing wheel to be used with driving games. Biosensor. It was released only in Japan and it measures the user's heart rate. This function only worked together with the Japanese version of Tetris 64, slowing down or speeding up the game as the user's heart speed changes. Shuriken 64. It was a controller used to play various fishing games. Then shot the Go 64 controller. It was a controller to play train and driving simulation games, only compatible with the game Let's Go by Train 64. Nintendo 64 System Organizer. It was a black wooden chest of drawers to hold Nintendo 64 games, controllers and various accessories. Nintendo 64 camera. It was a basic camera with official Nintendo 64 logo. It was a promotional item. It wasn't used in Nintendo 64 games as a controller. Nintendo 64 carry case. An official case to bring your Nintendo 64 on holidays with you. Among the custom Nintendo 64 games controllers, the most famous are SuperPad 64. It lacked the two lateral horns, making it more ergonomic to use. HorriPad 64. It had a buttons layout more similar to the GameCube and most modern controllers. Brawler 64. It is a new device for retro gaming, a new controller, both inspired by the HorriPad and by new controllers. Nintendo 64 Fighting Stick, an arcade stick to play fighting games such as Mortal Kombat 4 or Clay Fighter 63 1/3. Reality Quest 64, a glove-shaped controller that was the successor of the infamous Power Glove. It worked the same as bad. See you later, guys.
Motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes